The moment I stepped onto the scarred surface of Sector 77, I realized we were late. Not late to fight, but late to witness what humanity left behind. The air was thick with the stench of burned metal and charred flesh, and the silence pressed down on us like gravity from a dead star. I had expected a battlefield, yes, but not a graveyard of secrets. Not this. Even from the shuttle, the scars were visible. Craters carved into the crust like the teeth of some cosmic predator. Smoke plumes spiraled upward, twisted in unnatural patterns that defied the weak gravity of this world. I could feel my pulse in my throat as we descended. Something whispered beneath the ash. A memory, a warning. Commander Alara broke the silence. "Stay close," she said, her voice clipped, almost brittle. "We don't know what's still alive here. Or watching." But I had already seen it. A figure twisted and half-frozen in the crater, its armor mangled, one arm reaching as if begging for something we could never give. My stomach turned. This wasn't just a battlefield. This was a tomb. A mirror held up to the human soul. I moved closer, my boots crunching over splintered debris. And that's when I saw the first anomaly. A faint glow beneath the ash, pulsing rhythmically like a heartbeat. It was not human. Not entirely. I crouched, brushing away the dust, revealing a small crystalline device lodged in the soldier's chest cavity. It hummed, inscribed with symbols that felt familiar yet impossibly alien. A microhook whispered in my mind. Who left this here? And why? Alara noticed me staring. "Don't touch it," she warned, though her voice had lost conviction. These were human weapons modified by something else. She turned her gaze to the horizon, to the twisted remains of our armored columns. And we'll never know half of what they carried with them. We pressed onward, moving through the skeletal remains of machines and men alike. Some were beyond recognition, but in every frozen face I saw a story. The youngest had scribbled messages in the dust with their fingers. Frantic warnings, pleas for loved ones, a last attempt at humanity. And then we found the chamber, the center of Sector 77, where the sky seemed darker, as if the stars themselves were mourning. Inside, the devastation was concentrated, almost ritualistic. And in the center stood a being we had first thought was a machine. A tall, slender figure, silver-scaled, eyes like molten sapphire. Its gaze swept across the wreckage, unblinking, unjudging. An alien. One that had survived the chaos we'd created. It turned toward me, and in a voice that was both music and machinery, it spoke. "You left more than bodies." Every hair on my body stood on end. How could it know? I opened my mouth, but no sound came. What I saw next changed everything. It held something in its hands, a data core, no larger than a fist, but glowing with a light that seemed alive. "These were the truths humans buried," it said. "The secrets they dared not face." And it opened the device, projecting images into the thick air. Battles, betrayals, experiments. Not just weapons but forbidden technology, tests of human limits, betrayals of comrades for survival. Secrets hidden even from those who survived. My stomach knotted. Every horror I thought I'd seen was only the beginning. And then it moved, fluid and unearthly, showing us what humans left behind. Not only bodies and broken tech, but echoes of conscience, traces of fear and guilt embedded in devices, almost alive. "These echoes," it whispered, "will outlast you." We stumbled backward, hearts pounding. Alara's voice trembled. We did this. All of it. And no one will remember why." The alien's gaze softened slightly, impossibly so for a creature of logic. "Memory is survival," it said. "But you humans, you bury the weight of survival in graves." A sudden tremor shook the ground. From a ridge, shadows moved. Not alive, not dead, holographic recreations. Memories made physical by some experimental device buried deep within the soil. Soldiers turned not toward each other, but toward the future they would never see. Some reached for friends who weren't there. Others screamed at phantoms of enemies long gone. None of us were prepared for the truth. And then from the largest crater something stirred. A human, or what remained of one, twisted in the smoke. But its eyes were not human anymore. They burned with a cold fire, scanning, calculating, remembering. The alien spoke again. "This one absorbed the weight of all secrets here. It will carry them. And it will judge." I felt nausea rise in my throat. The battlefield had become a crucible. reshaping the remnants of humanity into something both terrifying and magnificent. Every choice, every act of cowardice or bravery had left a mark. The question hung over us. Could humanity bear the burden of its own truth? Ilara knelt beside me, brushing away ash from another fallen soldier. They tried to hide it, she whispered. Every moral compromise. Every life they sacrifice for victory. But nothing is hidden here. Nothing can escape this place. A new microhook slammed into my chest. If we leave now, will we ever be free of what we've done? We moved deeper toward the largest anomaly. A monolithic structure half buried in the ash, alien and yet undeniably human in its purpose. It pulsed with energy, a heartbeat for the dead. The alien accompanied us, silent now, as if guiding us to the point where the truths of humanity were most concentrated. Inside we found records. Not just logs or tactical data, but the hidden experiments. Gene splicing, cybernetic enhancements, neural mapping, everything humans had denied to themselves in the universe. And interspersed with these were personal notes. Letters to children, confessions to lovers, pleas for forgiveness. Emotional wreckage encoded into hard drives. The weight was almost physical. But that was only the beginning. A sudden alarm echoed through the structure, low and resonant. We spun to see a containment pod cracking open, revealing what appeared to be a human, but glowing, transformed, almost angelic in its alien modification. The alien beside us whispered, "It is the culmination. The final secret humans leave themselves." I stepped back, my mind reeling. What we had assumed was victory was something else entirely. Humanity, in its desperation and genius, had created an echo of its own conscience, a being that carried both our potential and our sins. We had fought wars, made choices, and yet left behind an artifact that would judge us long after we were gone. Ilara's hand found mine. Her voice was steady, but the weight of understanding trembled through it. "We can't leave it here," she said. "Not like this. Whatever it is, it's a part of us." But the alien shook its head. "No. You only observe. You only witness. Humanity's secrets are its own burden." The pod sealed itself again and the lights dimmed. The structure hummed, pulsing with the accumulated weight of every buried secret, every ghost of conscience, every act of courage and cowardice. We turned to leave, but my mind lingered on what we had seen. The alien remained behind, sentinel and witness, as we stepped back into the ash-choked air. The shuttle lifted off, breaking through the thin atmosphere. I looked down once more at Sector 77. The scars were no longer just craters. They were warnings, testaments to the truths humans hide from themselves. And I knew with a chilling clarity that some secrets are never meant to be carried lightly. The alien's final words echoed in my mind as we ascended. "Survival is easy. Understanding is the real battlefield." I closed my eyes, the stars rushing past, and realized that we had survived the war, but not its legacy. And the grim secrets we left behind would haunt every future human step among the stars. Somewhere below, Sector 77 waited. Patient, judging, eternal. And I knew, deep in my bones, that humanity would never truly escape itself.